Hey everyone, welcome to the Wildcat Way Show. I'm your host, McKinsy Hickman, and I have Mr. Grant Holladay with me today. He is one of our students here at PRCC, and I'm so excited to have him on the show. Grant, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, awesome. So I know that the reason that I wanted to have you on the show is because you wear so many different hats here at PRCC. You're not just a student, you have really made the most of your time here at PRCC. Mm-hmm. So kind of tell me, what are the things that you do here? What all are you involved in?
Ooh, I do probably too much.
Yeah.
I don't like really talking about it because I don't. I'll just say, okay, I do PTK. I'm in the honors college. Mm-hmm. I'm the mascot. I'm trying to think of what else I do. And I do stuff like SGA, and
mm-hmm.
well, now SGA actually got split up between SGA and now it's Student Activities Board, so I guess I'm a part of both of those.
Both of those, yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I've done, like stuff like STEM Club I
mm-hmm.
do, but generally my time is divided between the Honors College and PTK, and then whatever else I have going on is kind of what I do, but PTK is something that takes up a lot of my time, and
mm-hmm.
Honors College as well. But
absolutely.
But it's one of those things. It's like you have a busy, and then you have a good busy, and it's a good kind of busy mm-hmm. where it keeps you fulfilled and it makes you feel like you're doing something good.
Absolutely. So you're keeping your time filled all the time.
Right.
Well, I know you kind of brushed over it a little bit, but you are the mascot here, so you definitely are able to bring a lot of energy and a lot of fun. So kind of talk mm-hmm. about that mascot side, and do you enjoy that?
Oh, I love it. I've been a mascot since like 7th grade in high school, so I guess cool. That's 8 years now. And there's actually a good bit that goes into it that a lot of people don't really notice, but I initially started becoming a mascot because the principal of my middle school noticed, hey, this guy has a lot of energy, and I think I just inherently have energy. I can't really explain it, I just do, but I love being a mascot because lets me take all that energy. I love to dance. I love seeing the crowd go wild, and that's awesome. And also the little stuff, you'll go up to a kid and press on their nose, pat them on the head, and it makes them smile. And then when your team's down or there's a dull moment, you can go and mess with the crowd. Last game. There was a halftime, and I went up to the referees, and I got up right up in their face, and I was pumping in front of them, doing circles around them, just messing with them. It was probably not the best idea.
But it probably got the crowd pumped up.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
So it can really change the tide of how a situation's going.
Right.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And then you're really tall too, so it makes the
yes.
mascot look big too,
it
right?
Does.
So you're the perfect stature for it.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, and you do such a great job at that. And then you even coordinate with the cheerleaders and everything, and just have it all down to a science. And that's cool that you've been doing it for that long. It's like you're a pro now. You have so much experience. So what high school did you come from that you did that at?
I came from Hancock High School.
Okay.
There I was Hank the Hawk.
Yeah, Hank the Hawk.
And it was this big suit, and what was crazy was you had this little helmet, and then it had little wires coming out mm-hmm. that structured around the head, so when anyone hit me on the head, it reverberated.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I tell people, after I mascot, I get what's called a mascot hangover.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is bad.
That's hilarious.
So Pedialyte is my best friend.
There you go.
Really
that's
is.
Nice. Hey, you got to have it. And that's what, we talked about your energy and everything. And with you doing so many different things, you talked about Honors College. You talked about PTK and how that takes up a lot of your time. And then being the mascot, you have to be at games and everything like that. So mm-hmm. how do you keep up with all of your stuff and keep that high energy, that positivity? Because I know you're a very positive person mm-hmm. too. So how do you kind of keep that mindset with all the stuff that you do?
This sounds weird, but I think it's just kind of inherent. It's just kind of me.
Right, yeah.
And I think no matter where I go, I have a need not just to go someplace, but to I have a need to go to some places, but I have a need to go there and perform better than the average person might do.
Right. Sounds like a very competitive mindset to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not even in high school it was competitive, but now it's like I'm thinking about, I want to start a family, I want to have a career. I'm thinking about all these things, and I'm thinking about the steps that I need to take to get there. And doing these things in college now is a stepping stool to there.
Right.
And so in high school it was like, oh, I wanted to have the GPA so I can be top of my class, and so I can, that, it was that. But now it's I want to do these things for me and to better my future.
It's more looking towards the future.
Right.
Absolutely. So what kind of things are, you kind of brushed over it a little bit, but what are those things that you have planned for your future? What are you looking towards after your time here at PRCC?
I see the future is, I know I definitely want to be a family man. That's something I've known ever since I was a kid, that I wanted to start a family. I want to have kids. That's something that I want, but like getting there is, because right now I think I've changed my major like 5 or 6 times, and I'm not too sure about the major I have now.
So what is that?
Oh, it's international business.
International business, okay.
And so with international business, I'll get a double major in a foreign language and in a business of some kind. So I speak a little Spanish, so I'm thinking Spanish, and then I'm thinking marketing for my 2 majors. But that's subject to change, and that if that happens, that happens. It is what it is. But that's something. Starting at, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I just know I want to get there.
That you want to get there, absolutely.
And start a family. That's important to me. But getting there is and it kind of sucks not knowing. There was this. Who was the guy? I'm going to do this badly, but I was listening to this thing where this guy said, it's a blessing and a curse to not know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because you're really scared. Like, I'm interested in a lot of things, and like I'm someone that doesn't want to be bound by just one thing. And people ask me like, oh, what's my favorite thing? I don't have favorites. I don't think I can confine myself to a favorite. But he said it's a blessing to know what you want to do in your life, but it's also a curse because that's all you want to do in your life. But the people who don't know exactly what they want to do in their life, and there's the shakiness and the scariness of that all, they have the privilege of being whoever they want to be and becoming many things in their life, but they also have the scariness and I'm trying to think
the
of
unknown, like the not stable, maybe.
Right.
But it's really exciting to not know what's around every corner, maybe.
Right.
And that's what I think, like you said, there's 2 different types of people in the world, right? So there's the ones that they're like, hey, I've got my job that's from 9 to 5. I'm going to retire here in 30 years, and this is where I'm going to be. And that's awesome, and we need people like that.
Right.
But then there's also people like you, and then I know my parents were the type of people, too, that it was like they were entrepreneurs, and it seemed like every 5 years they would change. They're like, okay, I've done this, I need to go experience this now.
Right.
So and I see that being something for you is like, maybe starting up a business or working here or doing this, but it's like once you feel like your time there is complete, it's like you kind of like move on to what's next.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that's super awesome, and it gets you to experience so many different life events and life things and get the most out of it.
Right.
And that's what I, seeing you here, just around campus and what all you've done, I really feel like you have gotten the most out of PRCC.
Oh, absolutely.
That you could, like you took advantage of every opportunity that was given to you here. And so with that, knowing what you want to do in the future, how do you feel like PRCC has prepared you for that that future you, like wanting to do those different things? In my opinion, from the outside looking in, it's like I've seen you take advantage of it. And so then now I see you in the future taking advantage of whatever comes your way too, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that perspective. I think, for one, I've met a lot of people here, and I've met like a lot of, like in my PTK class, all of my advisors have really helped me, not even from like an academic standpoint, but just like I've had like a year ago last semester was like the worst semester I've ever had, and I come into class and my one of my instructors, Dr. Walls, said, "Grant, I can tell something's off. Come talk with me after class." You have the people that are there helping you academically, and they're like, "Hey, you need to look for apartments. You need to start thinking about your career," and all. They help you in your career and in your academics. But then you have teachers that really care about you, and that has been helpful in moving towards the future.
Right.
And then also like the opportunities here, I've just kind of, they're very helpful because I knew coming in I only had 2 years here,
right.
and so if I wanted to look good for whatever institution I decided to transfer to, so I knew I had to take advantage of everything that I could, so that way I would look like a good candidate, and it's just fulfilling. And at the end of the day, when you leave someplace, it feels good to not have a leaf unturned, or
right.
not think about, oh, what if I had done this? What if I had done that? And I don't think when I graduate I'm gonna, because I had some of that in high school. I had some of that. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. But here, when I graduate, I don't think I'm gonna have any of that, which I'm really happy about.
Absolutely, like not leaving anything on the table.
Right.
Taking advantage of everything that you possibly could. You got the most out of it, and you can say that it was a great experience for you, right?
It really was.
That's awesome. And to talking about the teachers and everything, see, that's something that, I have a lot of people that work here that come on the show, but I don't really have a lot of students that come on and talk about what it's like to be in the student perspective and be receiving from the people that work here. And I know for me, whenever I was here personally, like you mentioned Mr. Walsh, like he was so influential in my life. Whenever I first came here, like he was somebody that really shaped me into the person that I am today, and I don't even think that he realized how much of an impact that he made on me. But I know there's other amazing teachers that work here, so kind of talking about that impact that they have on you, what kind of talk a little bit more about the teachers and what they do.
They do a lot.
Yeah.
Just for an example, I'll give you an example of just one of many teachers that have been there for me is Miss Nix. And I mentioned one of my majors is Spanish, and she's the Spanish instructor. So I come in. This was my spring senior year. My brother had her, so he gave me her information, and I emailed her and I said, "I'm gonna come and sit down and meet with you because you're gonna be my instructor for just about every semester I'm here." And right there when I met her, I knew that I had a line or someone I could rely on for anything I needed. And I come in she's helped me make schedules, she's given me letters of recommendation, and and also she's just a great person.
Yeah.
It's weird, you come into her classroom and you think, I'm just gonna be here for 30 minutes, I'm just gonna ask her, oh, can you help me with this and this and this? And then it's an hour and a half later and you're just sitting there talking with her. And to have that relationship with a teacher, and to have that where even if it's not something academically related, and also Miss Nix is one of the PTK advisors too, so it kind of worked out that I have her as an advisor and I have her as an instructor. That has been really helpful to my development as a person and just my general growth having her there around. But that's not just the only teacher I've had. I've had hundreds of teachers. Well, yeah. I haven't had hundreds of. Well, maybe I've had hundreds of teachers. But,
right, a bunch of them.
A bunch of them. That's the right word.
Yeah, there you
go. That had just really wanted the best for me. Like Miss Savoy she's my on my business side. I'm going to talk about my bad semester again. This was my spring semester for freshman year. I was just not having a good time, and I had missed a few assignments, and I came to her, and like having a teacher that just understands, not even, I still had to do the work, but she said, I'm gonna open these up for you. You get those done, and I'm not gonna penalize you for it. Just having that opportunity to I think forgiveness is very important, and understanding is very important, and having teachers that understand, because teachers have been students before, and they get what it's like to have a bad semester.
And know that you need help sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's just a few examples of teachers that have been there for me, and there's like so many teachers, tons of them that have just been really influential to my development as a student and as a person.
That's awesome. And I'm so glad that it was here at PRCC.
Oh, absolutely.
That you can talk about it and tell people about it, and that you had that experience here. And it seems like that's kind of a recurring thing. If you kind of talk to people around, that's what they say. And I think that the people are what make PRCC great.
Oh, absolutely.
That the buildings are beautiful, the campus is nice, but if the people weren't here, it wouldn't be the same.
I agree.
And so, kind of moving forward, I know that you're graduating this May, so you're leaving us, and you're
unfortunately,
and you're going to end your time here at PRCC is coming to a close. And what does the next couple months look like for Grant? What's your next phase? Are you going on? Are you transferring? Where are you transferring to? What does that look like?
It's looking like Mississippi State University is where I'm thinking of transferring to. And I mean, just this last week, I went up to tour apartments and that sort of thing, and it's going to be a lot of scholarship essays and applications, and but also it's going to be a lot of saying goodbyes and a lot of thank you letters, because I have tons of those to write to tons of teachers and people that have been really helpful to me. It's gonna look like saying goodbye to my freshman friends or friends that are staying another year, and so it's gonna be bittersweet. But I'm still. When it comes to bittersweet things, like those people are still in my life. They're still gonna be there. They're not gonna just stop existing once I graduate.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm still gonna have all those people and all those connections to reach out to if I need anything. But it's gonna be stressful because I'm taking more hours than I should have. Every semester I've taken more hours than I should have, and somehow I turn out well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure that it's going to turn out well this semester too, and that it'll be there. But I'm so excited for you and for what's to come in the future, and I think you've got as solid of a foundation as you possibly can.
I agree.
And I'm so excited for you, like I said, and I thank you so much for coming on the show and for sharing your story and your time at PRCC with us. And I think that it's important for people to see it and to realize like just all the opportunities that they do have here at PRCC and kind of get your perspective of your time here.
Of course.
So thank you so much for coming on. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is the Wildcat Way Show. We had Grant today. And if you want to, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Wildcat Way Show. And you can also listen to us as a podcast. But thank you so much again for watching or listening. And we hope to see you next time.